Alright, for this lab what we're going to do is we're going to be messing around with electromagnets, also known as solenoids, as well as some induction. Something that we know about solenoids is we can say that the magnetic field inside of a solenoid is going to be equal to mu naught multiplied by the number of coils per unit length multiplied by the current. So just to write this guy down, this is going to be the number of turns per unit length. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up the simulation, and it's going to look a whole awful lot like this. And here we have an electromagnet. What we can do is we can say, wow, this looks a whole awful lot like a bar magnet. Look at that. We have the magnetic field kind of circling around from the north to the south. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this show field meter, and you can measure the field anywhere, but I want you to measure a dead center of this guy right here. Note that this G right here is Gauss. I don't really talk about that a whole awful lot, but that's the unit of magnetic field. What we can do is we can mess around with the number of loops, kind of messing around with these guys right here, and we can mess around with the voltage of this guy. Messing around with the voltage is going to be analogous to the current, and I'm just going to have you mess around with those and kind of see how the magnetic field is affected by messing around with those two parameters. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pop back to the lab, and we're going to mess around with induction. For induction, what I'm first going to have you do is I'm going to have you make some predictions about having some magnet outside of a coil of wires. What's going to happen when it's held motionless outside of a coil? What's going to happen when it's moved quickly inside or from outside inside the coil? Then held motionless inside of the coil, and then moved quickly from inside to outside. Now remember that nature does not like a change, much like my mother. So keep that in mind with your predictions. I don't care if your predictions are right or wrong, just go ahead and make them, and then you're going to make some observations. For the observations, you're just going to go ahead and click on this web page right here, and we can take a look at this guy. It's going to look a whole awful lot like this, and then you can mess around with the magnet just by clicking and dragging on it. So this lab is pretty straightforward.